My 28 male mom passed away 10 months ago. My sister, teen, has been severely impacted by this. She was very close to my mother. She's become somewhat depressed and doesn't talk a lot. She has these screaming episodes where she starts lashing out at everyone. My father and I are doing everything to help her. We're taking her to therapy and grief counselling. She is showing some signs of improvement, but it's still a long way to go. Last week she was eating dinner at my house. She was clearly not in the mood. She was barely engaged in any conversation my wife, 28 female, or I tried to initiate. I went to the bathroom, and when I returned, she had tears in her eyes and asked me to take her home. She refused to elaborate any more. After pressuring my wife, she admitted that she told her, "I know you feel sad and pain, but you're not the only one who lost your mother. Your brother, me, and your father are also suffering. You need to grow up because if you continue acting like this, you will only become a burden to them. Do you also want to lose your brother and dad?" I was furious and told her, "What did you tell her? Who told you to say anything?" She said that our ways were clearly not helping her and we needed to lay the harsh truth. I was like, "Who appointed you a therapist? Do you have a secret degree? Nothing you said is truthful. I will never consider my sister a burden. Yes, we are also in pain, but I'm almost 30. My dad is 50. We're adults. She's the teen. She takes the priority." She said that she was only trying to help. I told her, "You did not do this to help me. You only did it for yourself. You want us to resolve my sister's situation as fast as possible so we can go back to our normal life. So selfish." She started crying and we haven't spoken since. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your sister is still a child and she lost her mother. Of course she's going to process her grief in this way. Your wife is a grown woman and is old enough to know this. It's like you said. What your wife said was rude and insensitive, and she didn't say it because she was trying to help. She said it because she just wanted to resolve the situation fast. God, and it's only been 10 months. She's depressed and probably having outbursts trying to cope. She's not destroying things, nor does it sound like she's having outbursts maliciously. Opie's wife just doesn't want to deal with the stress herself and tries to get the sister to shut up. What's sad is that her comment definitely did more harm than good to her healing. I honestly can't believe an adult said that to a child. It's just, what the heck? Opie, your wife lacks sensitivity and compassion, and your reaction, even though emotional, is justified. She did something stupid, and she knew it was inappropriate, since she waited for a moment when they were alone. She did it solo shows that she knew it was not okay. Opie's wife knew what she was doing was selfish and crappy. She waited until she left the room to unleash her nonsense on a grieving child. She waited for an open opportunity to do it. Oh, this got me heated. Opie's poor sister was just set back in her grief. Opie handled it much better than I would have. Honestly, it sounds like your wife is jealous of all the attention you've been giving your little sister to help her through this trauma. What other reason could she have to play therapist and say something so devastating? Everyone's the idiot here. Understandably, your sister is still grieving, but it's also understandable that your wife lashed out, given what is a massively tense situation. Grief is a terrible thing and it causes lots of build-up. Your wife didn't handle things perfectly. Your sister isn't handling this perfectly, and to be honest, neither are you. Your wife shouldn't have suggested she would be a burden, but you maybe should take a step back and see if your wife is on the receiving end of everyone's tempers, and maybe struggling herself. I'm a 34-year-old man and my wife is 29. We've been married for 5 years. Since we started dating, she's always taken her sweet time doing everything. Getting dressed, doing her makeup, eating, whatever it is, she takes forever. I'm generally a patient person, but I get extremely anxious when I'm late for something with a scheduled starting time. Alone, I've never been late for anything. With her in tow, I'm late for everything. The most frustrating thing about this is that she cannot comprehend that she's making people wait. Even if I suggest that she move a little faster, she gets really defensive. A few years ago, one of her best friends dumped her because she was tired of her chronic lateness. Last night we went out to see a movie. Getting to the mall before the movie started was a battle itself. Still, miraculously, with the prospect of doing some shopping before it, she could gather her necessary belongings and get there with time to spare. So she started shopping while I more or less followed her until it was about time to get to the theatre. When I told her this, she talked to a sales clerk about the clothes she wanted to buy and told me to hang on for a second. As usual, hang on meant, I have no concern about your needs because I'm doing my own thing right now, and anything other than what I want to do is out of the question. So I waited around for a couple more minutes until she started taking jeans off the shelves to try on new combinations. The previews had already started. I told her again, and she said we could skip the previews. At this point, I just walked away, which she naturally overlooked, turned off my phone, and enjoyed the movie myself. As a side note, I missed the first few minutes of it, waiting for her, standing in line, and making my way to the theatre. On my way out of the theatre, I saw her on a bench in the lobby beside herself because I ditched her. I honestly didn't feel bad and told her that I'd do it again. This made her more upset, and finally we had an awkward, quiet drive home. Apparently she was actually looking forward to the movie too. Was I the idiot in this situation? I felt like it was supposed to be tough love, but she seemed really hurt. Not the idiot. This seems like an ongoing problem. I love the way you handled it. I did the same thing with an ex, but we're no longer together because his time was more precious than mine. It would take like an hour and a half to get ready. I would still be waiting for him. I just didn't want to wait for someone who didn't care about my time and only about themselves. The funny thing is, he only lived 10 minutes from me. She didn't get mad you left. You told her what you were doing, and she decided to keep shopping. Not the idiot. Initially, I was sympathetic to your wife as someone who is also chronically late. However, when you described that her response to you informing her the previews are starting was to go try on more jeans, I lost all sympathy. That's not chronic lateness, that's chronic disrespect for other people's time. I can't even figure out what she was thinking here. She wasn't just running late where she could ask people to wait for her, she was ignoring the time constraint of a scheduled movie. Movies don't wait for you. Opie said he even missed a few minutes. She couldn't possibly have been looking forward to the movie and go grab more jeans when she was told it was about to start. I honestly don't know how you've put up with it for so long. That type of disrespect would drive me bananas. My wife and I had our daughter 9 months ago. The person she was 9 months ago and the person she is now are completely different people. She's so mad all the time, like at the smallest things I do or say, like I can't even sneeze without setting her off. When I try to help out with our baby, she accuses me of thinking she's a bad mom. When I back off, she says that I act like I don't care about the baby. When she got back to work, I could tell it was taking a toll on her, and I suggested hiring a nanny. We both work good jobs and we could definitely afford it. I just wanted her to have some time to herself after work. She said that I thought she couldn't handle being a mother and wanted to bring a younger woman who hasn't had a baby into our home to fill her role. A few nights ago, she had to work later than usual. She said she'd be at most an hour and a half late, but she ended up being nearly 2.5. I stayed up with the baby until it got late and I put her to bed. I thought it would be good to have some time together, so I made us a nice dinner. She got home past our daughter's bedtime to me setting the table for us. She asked where she was, and I told her I put her down. She lost her crap. She was yelling at me and telling me I wasn't helping her. She said she just wanted to see her baby, and I took that from her. I told her that it was late and wanted to do something nice for her. The night was ruined and we spent it arguing. I slept on the couch that night and now she isn't talking to me outside of short, angry 2 or 3 word sentences. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but your wife needs a therapist badly. This sounds like it's probably postpartum depression or something very, very similar. You need to sit down with her and have a genuine discussion about this. It's not normal. It's not her normal, and you're worried about her. You aren't trying to take away her role, you're trying to do what a father is supposed to do. Postpartum anxiety is less talked about but also common after birth. OP, you need to get her to a doctor like yesterday. You're not the idiot if you're proactive about helping her. My doctor gave my husband pamphlets and a mini lecture after our daughter was born because not all women notice the signs or think they need treatment. In these situations, it falls on the partner. He was given numbers to call if I exhibited symptoms but insisted I was fine. Remember, being pregnant and giving birth changes you on literally every level. It's not that she's acting like a different person, she literally is one. Sometimes mourning your past self and being hurt that parenting is so much harder than advertised can really take a toll on a person. Not the idiot for putting the baby to bed, sure, but I got to wonder why you're here telling this like this is some kind of normal spat or normal state of things. Hasn't it occurred to you that your wife probably didn't get a personality transplant while she was in the maternity ward, that probably something is wrong? Okay, you're a new parent and probably tired and overwhelmed too, so maybe your brain just didn't get there. She's suffering, dude. You're her partner. Help her find help. So my son fell in love with ice skating after going on this reward trip when he was 8 with his school. After returning from the trip, he begged and begged me to let him learn. I didn't want to go all in, and he lost interest in a month. But he never lost interest, and the stars aligned when I saw someone giving away a pair of children's skates on Facebook, and they were my son's size. So I got him the skates, and my best friend knew someone who worked at an ice rink and sorted it so my son could go in for free. So he would watch videos and practice whenever he could and practically taught himself. His first pair of skates fell apart before he outgrew them, and I bought him brand new ones, and for his 10th birthday I surprised him with figure skating lessons. Since then he's competed in a few competitions, but he mainly just does it because he enjoys it. When we moved, I paid for his membership at the ice rink. Whenever he outgrew or broke his skates, I would get new ones. I drove him to practice and competitions. My son is now a teen, and my daughter is 18. Unlike my son, my daughter never really had a hobby or anything. However, she's had a few interests in the past few years that she would give up on after a few weeks. First, it was crocheting, then it was baking, then it was yoga, and so on and so on. I didn't mind getting her things for her hobbies because it wasn't too expensive. However, recently she says she wants to start making jewelry, soaps, and makeup and start selling them. So I offered to buy her some molds and told her to send me links to the ones she liked. The next day I got a text from her, and it had a bunch of soap molds, a bunch of different resin molds, and links to soap ingredients, pigments, resin, packaging, and a bunch of other stuff she would need. It was almost $600 worth of stuff, and almost everything she'd asked for was the most expensive option. So I told her that I wasn't getting her all of this and said I would buy her a few molds, not fund her small business. She told me that it's unfair that I've spent so much on her brother since he was little but won't support her interests this once. I told her that I didn't want to spend hundreds for her to drop it in less than a month. She then started crying and saying that I don't believe in her dedication and her talents, and that this is what she wants to do. She then left to her mother's and ignored my calls since. I didn't think I was in the wrong until she pointed out the possible favoritism and started crying. I feel horrible for making her cry. Am I the idiot, and how do I fix this? Edit. Both my children have different mothers. My daughter's mother and I split before she was born. Amicably, we're still close friends and get on very well. And my son's mother and I split when he was 6, and she later passed away. My kids are half-siblings. I'm a lot better off financially than my daughter's mother, which is why I'm covering the expenses of her hobbies and not her mother. Oh, this is tricky. I want to empathize with your daughter because I also struggle with picking up and dropping hobbies, but I understand you don't want to drop $600 on supplies she might not even use. I'm leaning more towards you not being the idiot, since you seem more than willing to compromise and have her start with baby steps, where after she threw a tantrum, she's now giving you the silent treatment. Not the idiot. You did support her hobbies. However, she is now an adult and wants you to support her business. That is completely different. Maybe pay for a few classes at a local art studio. Starting a business making things you don't know how to make is impossible. However, taking some art classes is fun, enriching, and while it may not save you money, it won't end up with you having a bunch of ingredients you'll have to sell. You are the idiot. What things have you found on Facebook Marketplace for her? You pulled strings with friends so your son could skate. What did you do to make a hobby of your daughter's more accessible to her? This might not be about investing in her business. It might be about investing in her as a person. Are you satisfied you've shown equal love and support to your children? You are the idiot. You said that you've been supporting your son's hobby for years and not just financially. You drove him to practice, and I'm assuming you attended his competitions. Did you ever try to get similarly involved in your daughter's hobbies? Did you ask her to show you some yoga exercises or to crochet you something? Just because your son found a hobby he's passionate about early on, it doesn't mean that everyone is that lucky. I, 46 female, am married, 48 male, and have 2 kids, Nash, teen male, and Diana, young teen female. Unfortunately, opportunities are very low in our country's education, and chances of jobs are low because we basically have only a few colleges in our entire district, and everyone has basically the same abilities. My husband and I promised to give our kids only the best education, so we signed them up for the best private school in town. This school in specific works with a company known for giving huge scholarships for children gifted in English. I was raised in an environment surrounded by people speaking English. My children, however, were not. Now, the school with the collaboration of this company gives exams, and based on the level of your skills, you either get a scholarship, or if you don't, it's very rare to get one. I wouldn't say my son's English is the best. However, it is above average. He did the test 2 years ago and got an average score. He was devastated. However, my daughter has breathtaking English, and her writing abilities are above the moon. She did the test a while ago, and I just got an email that she was afforded a gigantic scholarship. I plan to tell her, but I will also inform her that she will not be going because this will devastate her brother, because it's the exact same school he wanted to go to, and I don't want to break his heart like that. Am I the idiot for not breaking my son's dreams? You are the idiot. She worked hard and earned what she got, and you will punish her because it will make her younger brother unhappy? That's disgustingly bad parenting. If your son is unhappy about her success, you need to talk to him about improving his attitude and celebrating his sister's success. I wonder how much this has to do with the child being a girl. If the son had got the scholarship and the daughter hadn't, I have a sneaking suspicion he would get to go. OP, your son will have to learn to deal with disappointment and jealousy in life, and you're not even giving him the chance to see how he'd react. Right? It's okay to devastate your daughter and steal this opportunity from her, but not okay to devastate your son? Did it ever occur to you that your son could be happy for her? Do you think so little of your son that you assume his disappointment will overshadow his pride in his sister? Do you think it's okay to limit your child's future? OP, you are the idiot.